Good evening, dear guests and respected Toastmasters. Welcome to Toastmasters, Blending Beyond Borders meeting 34. I'm Toastmaster Dr. Sukanya Iyer, sitting in front of you all. A very good evening to one and all of you. I'm pleased and proud to be a Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. I'm also very happy to present the mission of our Toastmasters Club. We here provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members, are very much empowered to develop communication, leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and which results in personal growth. Most important aspect in today's world. There are few housekeeping policies that we follow. Number one, please rename yourself as follows to help the Zoom master spotlight you appropriately. Number two, all experienced, role players, please prefix all experienced role players, please rename themselves and also prefix TM to your name. And other guests also prefix your name with guest. Please mute any sound making devices which is around you. You may take 10 seconds for this activity and also keep your Zoom audio on mute throughout the meeting and unmute your microphone only when you're about to speak. And also keep your video cameras on. Speakers do feel nice, when you show your faces, pretty and smiling faces. Please turn off the video only if you have to eat and take a pee break or when you have to step away. General, chat box is disabled to avoid any sort of distractions. Where you can choose and display from reaction, high five, namaste, or applause when a speaker joins or leaves. And note that this meeting is being very much recorded. Please stay back also to network after the meeting. It's my proud privilege to introduce the presiding officer, distinguished Toastmaster, Renosh Thomas. He has telecom and IT industry experience in India and Middle East for more than 2 decades. He's a coach, creative thinker, and loves organizing programs for children and teens. He has been a Toastmaster since 2019, president at St. Paul Toastmasters Bahrain, and a council of St. Paul Gavel Club. He is a leader who epitomizes the RISE values of Toastmasters. R for respect, I for integrity, S for service, and E for excellence. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Renosh. Good evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dr. Sukanya Iyer. A big round of applause for that warm welcome to start this meeting off. So, greetings to all fellow Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, guests present over here. Let me first call the meeting of Eloquent Elites Toastmasters Club, meeting number 74. All Elite Advanced Toastmasters Club, meeting number 63. And St. Paul Toastmasters Club, meeting number 101 to order. Before I get into the agenda, let me call Toastmaster Phalgunan to let us know if there are any apologies to the agenda. If not, we can move ahead.
No, there are no apologies. We can go ahead.
Fantastic. If I can ask any of the members of the 3 clubs to please anyone to first propose the adoption of the agenda and another one to second the adoption of the agenda. If you can just state your name, club, and just mention, I propose the adoption of the agenda, and another one to second the adoption of the agenda.
Distinguished Toastmaster here. This is Seetharaman from All Elite Advanced Toastmaster. I propose the agenda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Seetha, for proposing the adoption of the agenda. Can I have any member to second the adoption of the agenda?
Toastmaster Meenakshi Arya from the Elite Advanced Toastmasters Club. I second the agenda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Meenakshi Iyer. With that, the agenda is adopted and we move forward. How many of you took time today to think that you are alive? In this fast-paced world, we get so busy and we say the word hectic many times than the word available. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I took my driving license in Dubai. I have been driving in the Gulf for a couple of years, but Dubai has its own rules and regulations that you have to redo the exam once again. And I did pass the driving license test. And the institute gives you a small memento, a reflection of what I have been going through. But I realized one important thing. There is a vital part in a car. You might think it's the steering, it's the accelerator, it's the electronics. Yes, this is all very important. But I realized one of the important parts of the car is that brake. And what do we use it for? You put a sudden brake to avoid colliding with any other car. Or if suddenly a person crosses the road, you put a brake. But there's one more use of that brake, is to slow down. There was this young man who was trying to cross a narrow street filled with a lot of people. People were going, it's bustling road. And there was this old grandma with stick walking step by step. And this young man was just behind her and he was frantically looking to a way to dodge her and go across, but he couldn't. He later passed her and looked back to see what she was doing. And she was looking at the birds chirping, the flowers. She was looking at the beauty of the surrounding. Ladies and gentlemen, not only did she slow down, and that's what we all think, but she was living in the present. And there was a man who could have gone way ahead of his professional life, but he slowed down for each and every one of us nearly 100 years ago. And he started a non-profit organization that you and I am part of. He is none other than the founding member or founder of Toastmasters International, Rathsi Smedley. He had a dream, he had a vision to make public speaking, communication in the lives of each and every one of us. He didn't move fast. He was living in the present. And because of that vision, today we have Toastmasters clubs in around 148 countries, close to around 270,000 members in 17,000 clubs. And you and I are part of this great initiative, which has completed 100 years of existence. Kudos to that man who knew how to live in the present. So let's all slow down and live in the moment. Today we have 3 Toastmasters Club joint meeting. And let me take a few minutes to introduce those 3 clubs. First, we have the Eloquent Elites Toastmasters Club, which was started in the year February 2021. And this was an initiative by the Rotary International as well as Toastmasters International. And Eloquent Elites is the first Rotary Toastmasters collaboration club in India and the 5th in the world. It has its unique position. Toastmaster Kusuma Rao was the charter president. And we have Toastmaster Girija Deshpande, who is the founder and the current president of the club. All Elite Advanced Toastmasters Club, that's the second club joining in this meeting. The club was chartered in March 2021. It had 2 district directors as members and past district director as the club mentor. A unique feature of this club is that prepared speakers have 3 evaluators and straight feed forward is provided. What is that? I request all of you to join in the next meeting and observe what is that uniqueness. I hope you all will be part of the next meeting. And a third club is St. Paul Toastmasters Club, which is based in Bahrain, District 20. I am the co-founder and the president of this club, which was started in the year June 2019. We have a Gavels Club as well, and we are the only church-based Toastmasters Club in the District 20. The person that I'm going to introduce you next needs no formal introduction, actually, but as a formality, and more than that, the person has been part of joint meeting with us for nearly 34 meetings. Nearly 2 years we have been doing meetings with each other. I have known this person in unique programs. We have done one of the first unique programs in the Middle East and India, which involved 600 Indian students, 200 judges, and over 200 role players. And she was part of that while I was the head of IT. And recently, we celebrated Toastmasters International by doing 100 table topics as a tribute to Toastmasters International. She is the current president of Eloquent Elite Toastmasters Club, the co-founder and counselor of Eloquent Elite's Gavels Club. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Girija Deshpande.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome, Distinguished Toastmaster Renosh Thomas. He started on a very thoughtful note. Do we pause in our life? Why do we don't pause? Very often, what we see is
You got muted, Girija.
yes, I don't want to. In life, people are so consumed with the past or the future that sometimes anger for something that you could not have controlled or you cannot control takes over. Or any other powerful emotion. It could be sadness, it could be regret, different emotions, because of which people do not stay in the present. So I find that he gave me a very nice way to open the meeting. What is anger? Anger is a typical response to something we perceive as unwanted, an action or a word of another person who is perceived to be disrespectful, demeaning, threatening, or neglectful, any of these things. The psychology of anger says that anger is often a reaction to and a distraction from inner suffering. Feelings such as sadness, powerlessness, shame, anxiety, inadequacy, insecurity, isolation, all these take the form of anger, they say. Being angry is not necessarily bad. Some of the best things were invented by angry people. Lamborghini didn't produce a single car until Enzo Ferrari made him angry. So let's park this thought on the theme and get on with the meeting. There are 3 sessions to the meeting. The first part is prepared speeches, and this I will lead. The second section is the table topic section, and this will be led by Nirmala Menon. The third section is the evaluation section, and this will be led by Distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair. Before we start with the 3 sections, I will introduce the role players and they will introduce their respective roles. The first role player I invite today is the General Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair, who also has doubled up as the Grammarian. He is a charter member of Bombay Toastmasters Club. He has been a Toastmaster for over 16 years, a distinguished Toastmaster who has held several leadership positions and continues to guide and mentor clubs and members. He has been an inspiration for many of us. He said, why talk about my past profession? He was with Times of India prior to retirement. But I make it a point to say that because I've heard the rumor mill in Toastmasters saying, oh, he must have been a professor of English. So I've heard it several times when I used to sometimes go for joint meetings in Mullen Toastmasters, people talking like that. It's wonderful that we all come from certain presumptions, like because he was a professor, that is why he's so good at English. So I just want to clear it that people from other professions also can be good at so many things. And over to you, Arvind Nair, to introduce your role of General Evaluator and Grammarian. Thank you.
Thank you, Girija. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and any future Toastmasters who are in this meeting. My role as the General Evaluator is to evaluate the meeting generally, and to suggest improvements, if any. I have a couple of people who would help me with this. I'm also playing the part of the Grammarian, and today I'd like to, my task as the Grammarian is to listen to everything that's being said, make a note of the good usage of the language, as well as the incorrect usage of the language. It's also my task to give the word of the day. And today, going with the theme for today, the word is furious, which means very angry. Furious, which means very angry. And since we are an advanced club, well, there are other things that tell you are very angry. And it can be used as he was furious when his new car was dented, when he saw his new car was dented. There are also wonderful phrases which you may like to use: to see red, to blow a fuse, in a foul mood, to hit the roof, hot under the collar, my blood boils. I would give the report and the third section when called upon to do so. Thank you, Girija, and over to you to introduce the other role players.
That was lovely, Arvind. You know, I feel that Arvind is the right person to answer this question. Coming back to the theme, it is said that anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. Anger is a punishment we give ourselves for somebody else's mistakes. And I have never seen Arvind furious. And I want to ask him, can you please share your experience on this aspect of anger, how it harms the person who feels it rather than the person who is the target?
Wonderful thing. Well, it all depends on age, and you mature with age. Well, there aren't any of those old Toastmasters here. When I started Toastmasters, when I began as a Toastmaster and I got into the leadership role and I was seeing things happening, and I would tear my hair and I say, why is it not happening in the correct way? And I was getting furious, and there would be somebody sitting beside me always and saying, take it easy, take it easy. And that's when I learned we're all here to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And yes, I learned that being furious doesn't help. Let them make mistakes, because Toastmasters is that place where you can make mistakes and learn from it, but do not repeat it. that's how I have learned to take things in my stride. And yes, probably go later on and caution the person or advise the person. It could be done in a better way. And don't think about it because it's going to eat you. And if you are angry, the person doesn't know. It only eats you and he's carefree about it. So why harm yourself and why do you get into it? You know, he doesn't get harmed. So please do not do that. Don't be furious. Over to you, Girija.
Thank you so much. Yes, sometimes the target doesn't know. Sometimes the target may know and still ignore. Sometimes the target will know and respond or react. All this happens in life. Moving on, yes. The next role player is Krishna Subramaniam, the accountant. In his introduction, what shall I say? I've heard him speak in several meetings and I've been totally blown away. Other than that, what shall I say? He's not yet responding, I was thinking. When we have not prepared or have not gathered information, when we are not confident, this is what we do. Fill up our speeches with ahs and ums and all that to manage us. What is Krishna going to do? Now, before I call him to explain his role, I'd just like to give him a brief introduction to him. He has been a Toastmaster for close to 4 years. He's currently Area Director of Area D5. He has served the largest Toastmasters club in the world as Vice President Membership, Vice President Education, and the President. He's a division winner and top 3 at district level. He was a Toastmaster of the Year. Professionally, he is the Business Finance Associate Director at Infoblocks for Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. He's married and he has a 6-year-old daughter and he has his own YouTube channel and podcast as well. And he says, if you're comfortable, please mention this. Why not? It is such a beautiful thing that you've been doing. So without hemming and hawing, I give it over to Krishna and request him to explain his role. Over to you, Krishna.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Girija. One surprise for you, I also worked with your husband during my days at NTT. I thought that would be a fun thing to bring out suddenly in this meeting. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm looking at our participant list and we have people from everywhere. So thank you so much for joining us. My name is Krishna Subramanian. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds. We use them as crutches or pause fillers. When we're not comfortable with our pauses, we use some words to fill up those pauses. During this meeting, I will listen for overused words. And, well, but, so, you know. I will also listen for all filler sounds. I will note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase as well. I, this means, this, that means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will give a detailed report of the number of times each speaker used these expressions. Back to you, Toastmaster Girija.
Thank you, Krishna. And I'm happy that all this does not trigger your anger and you don't become furious. But there may be other things which trigger your anger. So what kind of people, events, places, or things make you angry? Just a small snippet into that, sneak peek.
When someone tells me that my mother had visited our house and I find out that a meal has been cooked for me, and then when I walk in, I take a plate for myself and I find out that my mother did not cook that meal but gave instructions to the cook to cook that meal, I get very furious.
Oh God. She has taken the pains to give all that instruction and you get furious. Wow, wow.
My mother cooks, I'm happy. She makes someone else cook and it's never up to the standard, I get furious.
Lovely, lovely. So I just remember this dialogue someone said, it's not, I'm not a person who gets angry. It is the other people who do things that make me angry. Or don't do things that make you angry. Lovely. Thank you so much, Krishna. Then our next role is that of the timer, a very important role. You already saw him performing. The timer role is played by someone who is always very straight to the point, Phalgunan Kumaran. He is an HR professional. He specializes in talent management, change management, organizational management. He's a Toastmaster since 2009, and I've known him since then. Over to you, Phalgunan.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Girija. As a timer, my duty is to time the prepared speeches, the table topics, and the evaluations. For the prepared speeches, we have 2 prepared speeches today, and the time allotted for them is 5 to 7 minutes. I shall display the green screen when the speaker reaches the minimum qualifying time, yellow screen when the speaker reaches the midpoint of the allotted time, and I shall display the red screen when the speaker reaches the maximum allotted time, and I shall keep the red screen on till the speaker stops his or her speech. There is a grace time of 30 seconds on either side for the prepared speeches, and not on either side, but on the higher side after 7 minutes. And I shall I shall come and present my report when called upon. I shall give the timing guidelines for table topics and evaluations when called upon. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Girija.
Thank you, Phalgunan. Again, one more person whom I have never, ever...
You're not audible, Girija.
Okay. Again, this thing is unmute. I do not know how...
You're audible,
Girija,
Girija. You're audible.
Audible?
You're audible.
Okay. So, Phalgunan is a person whom I have never, ever seen moving away from the tip. Always his tip is balanced. Yet, I want to ask, he must be definitely...
Sorry, the screen froze for me.
You are not able to hear me? Okay. Okay. So
loud and clear.
Are you able to hear me, Phalgunan? Phalgunan is muted. Are you able to hear me?
You're audible, Toastmaster Girija.
Okay.
Yes.
So let us go ahead then in that case, because Phalgunan Kumaran is not able to hear. So we move on with the prepared speech section.
Am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible. Yes. So I have a small question for you. You may not express anger, but definitely I'm sure that you're dealing with anger. There must be a typical style that you have. So I know that open aggression, I have not experienced it. Passive aggression, I have not experienced it. But do you feel from within any of those that I want to be doing openly aggressive, but I'm not doing it because it's not etiquette, or I cannot do it with that person? Have you ever felt it? And when? Can you share?
Toastmaster Girija, I believe our timer is facing some issues, so he might rejoin. You may proceed.
Okay. So I'll go ahead now with the next section, that is the prepared speech section. So in many Hindu Puranas, biblical and literary characters also are known to have faced destruction of or downfall due to their anger. I can recall from each tradition some of this. Right now, I will just focus on the Puranas. Ravana, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Shakuni, Karna, Duryodhan, Shishupal, Bhasmasur. We have so many of them whose anger has destroyed their own life and those of people around them. Entire nation, because Ravana was angered when his sister came and exploited his anger. And he heard her story, the Surpanaka story, and then the entire episode of his kidnapping Sita and everything else took place. Right? Similarly, we have Dhritarashtra, angry at his own birth, that he was born handicapped. And because of that, because of the certain royal policies, he couldn't become the king. That anger, suppressed anger, he expresses it in so many passive ways. Gandhari, suppressing anger, never expressed it whether aggressively or passively, and how it shows. Shakuni, his anger that his sister was married to a blind person. Karna, again anger that I was born in a royal family, but still I could not enjoy any of those rights. And all his life he had been holding on to that. And how that burnt away his own, the vessel, the container of that anger. Duryodhan, furious that the Pandavas were getting a lot of fame and appreciation from people. Shishupal, even though he was given 100 opportunities to contain his anger, he couldn't do it. Bhasmasur, though he got the blessings from Lord Shiva, still he became a victim of his own anger and became Bhasma and was burnt to ashes. All this we have seen in our Puranas. And yet we have not learned our lessons, and still we are facing this anger. We are not able to deal with it because everyday life and reading is something different. Now we move on to the speech section. The first speaker is Distinguished Toastmaster Akshay Singh, and the speech evaluator is Toastmaster Seetharaman. When I asked him to introduce himself, he says, as aligned to today's theme, I'm still trying to discover the Ram in me. I'm trying to blend into what he epitomizes as an Uttam Purush for his empathy, calmness, and composure. And he has been with Toastmasters for 7 years, with Mumbai Toastmasters, and now with Advanced Elite Toastmasters Club. He is currently residing in Bangalore. He works with a Japanese investment bank based out of Mumbai. He frequently flies between Bangalore and Mumbai. He has experienced anger at flight delays and the danger of turbulence. Thankfully, he always looks forward to Saturdays and never endanger his Toastmasters learning experience. That was a beautiful sharing, Toastmasters. So now during this speech section, I would not interfere or discuss the theme. We would just move on to the speech section. So can you please share the speech objectives of District Toastmaster Akshay's project?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Girija. Today, our first speaker, Toastmaster Akshay, who is pursuing his pathway, which is persuasive influence. He would be delivering level 3, project 2, an elective in that level 3 project 2. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires audience. So that is what will be very much seen in the way our target speaker would be delivering his speech. Timer, please note the speech time is 5 to 7 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes. With that, let me wish our target speaker, Toastmaster Akshay, all the best. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Girija.
Thank you, Seetharaman. I cannot resist this temptation because of your introduction. You have said that you are trying to be Maryada Purushottam. Can you share one instance where Rama was very calm and earned the name Maryada Purushottam? That would have probably incited a very normal person to become furious and get consumed with anger. Over to you, Seetharaman. Just one.
The one thing that we all could relate to is when he was asked to kind of renounce his kingdom and go to a completely faraway place, how well he had taken that on himself without causing any other emotional turbulence or trying to shout out and seeking for it or fighting it out. Simply with a very, I should say, without showing any sort of an emotion, calmly accepted it and took it as his probably karma and went on. Many of us have faced similar situations. Distinguished Toastmaster Arvind did say that experience had eliminated or rather enhanced each of us as individuals. All of us at some times have busted out when things don't happen the way that we wanted. You did talk about it, Toastmaster of the Day. I think age is a great healer in terms of understanding what is the real way to respond to difficult situations and to eliminate anger in causing a danger. That's what I would think of. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Wonderful. Thank you, Toastmaster Seetharaman. I would like to introduce the present speaker, Distinguished Toastmaster Akshay Singh. He is a senior data engineer with a passion for cycling, puzzle solving, poetry, and volunteering in the areas of environment, education, and empowerment. A Toastmaster since 2018, he is completing, mind you, 4 parts. He currently serves as a District Public Relations Manager for District 98. Throughout his Toastmasters journey, Akshay has collaborated with multiple Toastmasters across the world, conducted sessions on PR, topics, table topics, evaluation, use of technology within Toastmasters, and continues to foster leadership and communication excellence. Right now, recently, he had hosted a session on how to use Toastmasters now that Toastmasters International Platform, the website, now that the new the Toastmasters website has been revamped, the base camp. That was wonderful. Akshay, all set?
Am I audible clearly?
Yes, yes, you are audible and visible too. Yes.
Can I just
Akshay
see
is
the
lifting his persuasive influence, as you all see. So, and his purpose is inspiring the audience. Let's get inspired by him. Power of smile, Akshay Singh. Akshay Singh, power of smile. Over to you.
Just a sec. He wanted to test or say something.
Okay.
I wanted to check the timer cards. Phalgunan. Can you switch them over once?
Sure. Sure.
All right, thanks, Phalgunan. Have you ever received a smile that has completely vanished all your furious worries in an instant? If yes, raise your hands. Well, this smile may be from a friend, maybe from a family member, but what if this smile is from a stranger? Have you wondered what kind of stranger can help you vanish all your furious worries in an instant? Today, let me take you all back to my summer holidays in the year 2017. Back when I was at my workplace, Trivandrum, working with Tata Consultancy and Service. Those days, most of my weekends used to be traveling new places, exploring the food, exploring the city, and all the beautiful landscapes that God's own country had to offer. But being there for almost a year and more, I decided that one weekend should be different. This weekend was to give back to the community. So along with a group of friends, we decided to brainstorm and figure out what should we do wherein we can enjoy at the same time giving back to the community. So it took almost a month of planning, gathering the volunteers from colleges, schools, as well as my workplace, persuading the audiences and the volunteers to fund us, to give us donations, do fundraising drives, and finally collecting all the funds to do our school supplies distribution drive. This drive was set for a weekend, and that weekend was Sunday. Just before Sunday, I, along with a couple of friends, were hustling and bustling to the market, holding multiple bags of school supplies, ranging from colorful bags, tiffin boxes, compasses, colorful pencils, and notebooks. All this was being held across by me while I was the person holding the bags, whereas my friends were busy selecting. The entire journey of planning until here, it was an emotional ride. Who would have imagined that I would not forget the next week? Next Sunday, we all woke up early in the morning around 6 a.m., decided to venture out from our homes, holding all the supplies, and reach the community center. Not just 4 or 5 friends, we had a lot of other helping hands who came together for this voluntary commitment. We all were ready. All the colorful stacks of bags were lined up. There were a lot of materials for the school kids. We had decided that at least for 100 kids, we would be doing the distribution. And that was the moment. As soon as it struck 9, a couple of volunteers opened the gates of the community center and the chaos which entered. Well, I wouldn't say that was the chaos. It was the hustling, bustling of kids ranging from 4 years to 12 years rushing into the venue. Laughing, talking, making noises. They were all excited because behind us were the beautiful, colorful bags, supplies, which they were going to take away. Soon, all of them were rushing. They were eager to barge in. But one of my volunteers, Shweta. Now, Shweta was very strict. I'm not sure what she said because she uttered something in Malayalam which was way beyond my comprehension. But I'm sure she was furious enough on everyone. She said something, and immediately in a jiffy, the kids lined up in a row, one after the another, taking one arm's distance, and everyone was there. 5 of us were standing in front, 5 of us were behind, tackling all the supplies and distributing. This went on by for 2.5 hours. Me being the lead volunteer, I was orchestrating this part and was not part of distribution. But luckily, Shweta asked me, why not you join for a moment? And I did. My very first encounter with a small 10-year-old kid who had his clothes worn out was standing there in the line, eager to grab that bag. I decided, let me get to his level. I got down to his level, asked him, what is your name? He was barely speaking, and he said, my name is Arjun. Now, Arjun was a very, very naughty child. I could say just from the look. He was eager to just grab the bag and grab it. But I told Arjun, wait for a moment. What do you wish to become in future? Arjun was still eyeing the bags behind me rather than focusing on my question. You could have said I would have been furious, but Arjun immediately said, I want to help people. I want to help my friends and be a doctor. And that when he said, he had a smile and he immediately grabbed the bag from my hand and brushed away. But in that moment, that very moment, that smile, which would have made me otherwise furious, instantly made all the chaos around me seem to be disappearing. I was stuck in that moment by a smile of Arjun that elevated all my sorrow. In that very moment, it had lit up the entire placement. There were many volunteers. One such another volunteer, a friend and a colleague at TCS, Priya. This was the first time when she was volunteering. And a girl who took the bag from her hand told her that I want to become like you. And that left Priya speechless. There were sparkles of tears from her eyes. That was the profound moment of those smiles. That day we distributed to 100 kids. But what was most exciting was the smile. 100 smiles shared with us. The truth is, that day we all received something priceless. It was a reminder that volunteering isn't just about giving a little. It's about connecting in those moments, shifting your perspective, understanding that the connections which you make are bonded with a smile, which can help you elevate all your worries. When you give to others, you receive so much more. That's the true power of smile. The power of smile that helps you gift yourself the connection, the bond, which can be treasured throughout. Years later, every year during summer holidays, there is some or other volunteer who comes up and does the drive. Very important to know. What do you think, Girija? Don't you think the power of smile is something infectious and will help you elevate all your furious worries in an instant? Over to you.
Wonderful. True it is that a smile can just make anger vanish. Very often it happens. But at the same time, a smile can also infuriate a person. Oh, I'm so angry and still you smile. Both I have seen happening in life. Now we move on with the next speaker. Distinguished Toastmaster Jai Singh. Before I call upon him, I request our evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Renosh Thomas, to present the speech objectives. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Girija. Once again, greetings to all present here. The purpose of the project is for Toastmaster Jai Singh to practice developing and presenting a proposal, which could be from any area of the members, that's his personal or professional life, or the Toastmasters Club. Timer, please know the time is 5 to 7 minutes. I look forward to a very enthusiastic, energetic speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Girija.
Thank you. Distinguished Toastmaster Jai Singh is a professional interior designer for commercial vehicles. He's a program manager in Daimler. He has been the past division director. He's especially here, he says, to meet Distinguished Toastmaster Renosh Thomas. And he says, we are family, isn't it? But I think Toastmasters is a large family. Now, over to you, Toastmaster Jai Singh. Before I give away, let me announce the title. Business, it's matter. It's matter, business, Jai Singh. Over to you.
Please confirm if I'm audible.
You are.
Yes, you are
I'm
audible.
audible?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. What do you think if I have 5 cups of coffee? One is definitely from Starbucks. Second, cafe coffee day. Third, your own office coffee. Fourth, someone from the street. And fifth, especially from your spouse. Just let me know, will you be able to find the differences? Can you find out which coffee is belong to Starbucks? Can you identify? Might be yes, might be no. But one thing, are you ready to pay that 150, 200, 250 rupees for that Starbucks coffee to drink in your office or at home? No. No one wants to drink 250 rupees, 150 rupees coffee sitting in the back. Then why still we are paying it? We are paying for the emotions behind it. When we have that Starbucks coffee in our hand and our lovely spouse or children or our friends with us. Because I have seen very few who are drinking that coffee alone, sitting in that very thing. Normally, the newly married couple or who wants to marry or someone definitely with a client, prestigious client, let me tell you, they are because that coffee is giving you an additional value. That's not the product for which we are paying. We are paying the surroundings, the experience, the emotions which we are having, the ambient, oh my, the aroma of that coffee which we can see, which we can feel. So, my friends, when we are knowing this thing, emotions are more important than the product itself. Then why the still people are saying artificial intelligence will change the entire world? If only by getting the transaction everything happens, that will really add the value. I'm not denying the fact that AI is changing the world. But what I'm saying, the business is cannot be run only just by the transaction. You paid to me, I have given you the product. That's not the Amazon understood it, Flipkart understood it, Reliance Smart, all understood it. And have you observed when you go inside the Reliance Smart, or Big Bazaar, TMoD, everywhere, you can observe there's always a chaos. So many things are lined up each other. They don't have money to buy the bigger land. They have. They don't have the people who can line up in a good order. They have them. Why they are making? Just think in this way. The middle families who are buying from them, they feel uncomfortable. And you can try also. You can take any one of your friends in really big showroom and then start to pay. He will feel uncomfortable. To make the customer comfortable, they want to build the trust. They want to build the emotion. And emotion should be on the same level. That makes the change. The same thing, when I realized I'm going to propose to my mentor, just doing the work is not enough. We have to build a relation with our partner. We have to not to do only the meetings with our partner. We have to drink coffee with them. We have to celebrate Christmas. We have to call them to celebrate Diwali or any festival with us. That's the only way we can proceed. Now let me move it. Why I'm telling all these things? Because most of you have already heard. In let's say 3 years back, 5 years back, there were so many travels abroad. Indian was traveling. But now all countries are putting the restrictions. Or all the companies are putting the restriction. No need for the travel. Our work can happen online also. I hope you also face the same situation in your company. Might be you are also the manager who took this decision. And here I want to remind you, I'm going to propose just doing the transactional work, they paid, we provided the service will not help. To bring the business, we have to build the trust. We need relations with them. And the relation cannot be happen only on the presentation or Zooms or Teams meeting. We have to meet them. When the Toastmaster understood it, and they started the more and more offline contests, more and more offline meetings, more offline clubs. Am I right or wrong? So this is my proposal. I want to share the same Starbucks coffee experience with my managers, my management, and I want to propose to forget about the transactions, think about the emotions, build relations, and whenever someone is going, no need to ask them, hey, how many meetings you did. You have to ask them how strong a relation you build. How many members, employees have you met? Have you seen the workshop? Have you visited the museum? Have you visited the testing labs? Our question should be different. And that proposal I'm giving to my management. Today in this community, I'm presenting this, how I'm going to proceed. If you have any feedback to strengthen my proposal, please give it to me. Thank you. And over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a wonderful, both of them were beautiful expressions of work experience and how it has influenced you. Thank you so much. Now, in the beginning, I had talked about how anger influences anger, about the influence of anger, which has been described in Puranas, in Bible, and in literary characters. So I just give a short sneak peek there. In the Bible, Cain is mentioned as a person who murdered his own wife or his own brother Abel in a fit of jealousy and rage. And this was, in the world of Christianity, the first recorded murder in human history. And this led to his punishment and exile. Then comes King Saul, who is mentioned as a person whose growing jealousy towards David led him to seek David's life. So Saul's unchecked anger resulted in the loss of his kingship and eventually death in the battle. Then we also hear about Moses, the Exodus, right? Moses was a great leader, but he lost his temper on two occasions. First, when he broke the stone tablet upon seeing the Israelites worshipping the golden calf. The second instance was when in a fit of anger, he struck the rock to bring forth water instead of giving instructions as per the divine glimpse that he had. So because of the second action, he was not allowed to enter the promised land. So we have seen in these events how anger can lead a person to downfall and entire the following, people who have been following. So great leaders have great responsibilities. Like it has been said so many times, more rights, more responsibilities. Now we move on to the next section, the table topic section. We have Nirmala Menon, who will be presiding over this section. She provides HR and marketing services and her firm, and she enjoys writing and cooking. And she is also delving into spirituality. Before I hand over the section to you, I just have one simple question. What are the various ways in which you handle anger? Are there any creative pursuits or spiritual pursuits that you use in order to deal with anger? Over to you, Nirmala.
Thanks, Toastmaster Girija.
Just before it starts, I've shared in the chat the polling for the best prepared speaker. If everyone can cast a vote before we start the table topics round. Thank you. Only 5 people have voted as of now. Because everyone to cast a vote. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Nirmala.
Thank you, Toastmaster Phalgunan. Thank you, Toastmaster Girija. The question that you asked me is, if you would have asked me this question 15 years ago, the answer would have been very different. But yes, today, spirituality, I am following spirituality, and meditation is something that really keeps me patient with myself and patient with people around me. And that is something that has also opened my eyes to the importance of not being angry for unnecessarily. Basically, I don't get angry nowadays so much. I mean, if you would ask, as I said, if you would ask me 15 years ago, it didn't take much to even kind of, light that fire in me. But then these are some things that I understood. I've got feedback from very good souls. And this is something that I have made a mission to ensure that whatever I do, whatever I say now, it only kind of helps people. And it helps me also in the process. So definitely meditation and spirituality are the in thing for me now. And that gives me a peaceful life. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Now you conduct the Toastmasters table topic session all over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Girija. Warm greetings to everyone present here, Toastmaster of the day, my fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guests. Thank you so much for being there in the session. When I'm conducting the table topics round for today, and the purpose of a table topics is to give every member in the session and the guests an opportunity to practice and enhance speaking skills, impromptu speaking skills, so that we are ready.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You muted yourself.
You're ready to speak anywhere, and nothing kind of stops you from voicing your opinions, voicing what you want to say. But before I start the session, I would like to request our timer Toastmaster Phalgunan to give us the timing guidelines for the table topic speeches and the feedback evaluation speeches. Over to you, Toastmaster Phalgunan.
I think for now, the timing for the table topics round would be good enough. Each of the table topic speaker need to speak for minimum 1 minute. And when the speaker reaches the minimum time of 1 minute, I shall show the green screen. At 1.5 minutes, I shall show the yellow screen. And at 2 minutes, I shall show the red screen. There is a grace time of 30 seconds after 2 minutes. I saw Girija raising her hand if she wants to tell something.
Yes. My question is, does every speaker give evaluation of the previous speaker?
I think we are short on time, so let us avoid that and only have the speakers.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we will follow that. Since we are an advanced club, we normally you have another Toastmaster evaluate the table topic speak also, but we will not be having that in this session. And since today's theme is anger, I have chosen some topics around this theme. All the emotions that are given to us is given to us for a reason, and anger too can be a helpful emotion, but only if we take care of it and we respect it. Even anger has to be respected. Anger is an emotion that can motivate people to positively change things in their lives, but if it's handled well. However, if it is not handled well, what can happen is it can get out of control and make a person furious, and which leads to abuse, aggression, and these are some things that we can avoid. Well, let us start the session. I have some very good topics that I will put across to you. We will do it in a little creative manner. I would like to share some numbers with you. Just give me a minute whilst I share it. Can everyone see it?
Yes, it is visible.
Wonderful. All right, so let us start the session. I would invite someone, a speaker, who would like to speak first? Dhruv Tiwari. I could see you. Wow, wonderful. Dhruv, why don't you, Toastmaster Dhruv? Dhruv, are you a guest or are you a Toastmaster?
I am a Toastmaster from Jaipur
Okay.
Toastmasters Club.
Wonderful, wonderful. Toastmaster Dhruv, could you select a number that, and I'll show you the topic.
I will select 7, Thala for a reason.
I'll ask you later what's the reason. How do you think and react to a problem is more important than the problem itself? What are your views about it? I repeat, how you think and react to a problem is more important than the problem itself. Your views on this.
Let me start by a story. I was in my first year of college and I had a crush on a girl. I confessed feelings to her. And do you know what happened after that? After that, she blocked me. She didn't even came to college for the next 2 weeks. I was shocked. I just confessed feeling she rejected me at that time and I could not contact to her. I was furious, frustrated, confused. Many emotions was going on. And whenever I see her, I just react in a very, I don't, wrong manner, I would say. Sometimes I over express my feelings that why you blocked me. Sometimes I got very nervous. And at that time, my emotions were not in my control. Right now, after almost 1.5 years later, when I just look back at that time, I just think that, oh, it was just a simple rejection, not a big deal. If at that time I have controlled my emotions better, if I at that time I have reacted better, I have reacted in a calm way, then I believe that my things could be better. Because at that time, I still remember that my mental health got messed up a lot because of the way I reacted, and my relations with that girl in general as well got messed up. But at that time, if I had reacted in a calm manner, and if I just have no reaction at that time, maybe the relations will be a little better, or I have a better mental health at that time. After that, I still remember I joined Toastmasters when my mental health was not in good mood, good, and how I understand how to interact with humans, how to control our emotions, and how more reaction is more important than the problem itself. Thank you. Back to the table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhruv, for that wonderful.
Also, just a thing, you asked us what is Thala for a reason. It's a trend. Thala means Dhoni. The Dhoni jersey number is 7. So people just like
Lovely.
whenever they see 7, they just call Thala for a reason.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhruv. Thanks for sharing that information. Okay, now to the second speaker. Who would like to volunteer? If somebody is raising their hand, if I'm not able to see, please speak up.
You choose someone, Nirmala. It's okay. I don't.
Shall I choose?
Yeah, do choose. Yes.
Okay, we have Toastmaster Preetpal Kaur. Toastmaster Preetpal Kaur. Hello. Are you there, Toastmaster Preetpal Kaur?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
am I audible? I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm so
Please
sorry.
choose
I
your
have
number.
some network stability issue.
Oh,
One.
no, we don't have one from this. I think you can. Can you see the screen?
You will have to
3,
reshare
4,
your
5,
screen.
6.
Your
3, 4,
screen has
5,
to be
and
shared.
6.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. 5.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen, or should I reshare it?
Seat.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes. Okay. So the topic is anger sometimes is a blessing in disguise to bring in required changes. Anger sometimes is a blessing in disguise to bring in required changes. Over to you, Toastmaster. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Anger sometimes is a blessing in disguise to bring in required changes. I think I completely agree with this topic because at times anger is something that fuels you. Anger that if you have been denied something, anger at that moment would fuel your passion, fuel your desires, fuel your needs, and it can actually lead to something really positive if you want to achieve something. However, one needs to be mindful of what this anger is stemming from. Whether this anger is stemming from the fact that it was an injustice that you want to set right. If that was the case, then I think the entire, the entire moment of freedom struggle, our entire freedom struggle was possibly somewhere there was a pent up anger in us, which erupted at some point in time, and we did get our freedom. That was a blessing in disguise, if I have to talk about it. However, if this anger had erupted from jealousy, I think that is something that one needs to beware of, and nothing good can lead from this kind of an anger. But if one thinks of anger in a positive way, if one thinks of channeling that anger and channelizing that anger and ensuring that it, ignites the right kind of fire, positive results will come out from it. The entire, as I earlier I gave the example of the freedom struggle, I can also talk about the injustice of the oppressed classes. I think all those positive changes that have been brought about in the society somewhere have stemmed from anger. So yes, anger at the right things at the right time can lead to positive changes. Thank you. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Preetha. That was an awesome speech that you've given. All right, moving forward, anybody else? Who would be the next speaker?
I can take on next.
Okay, can I know who's this?
It's Toastmaster Meenakshi.
Toastmaster Meenakshi. Okay, so Toastmaster Meenakshi, I will, okay, choose your anger topic.
That's number 4.
Oh, lovely. I looked back in anger at what I did. I could have tackled it better. A story from you. I looked back in anger at what I did. I could have tackled it better. Over to you, Toastmaster Meenakshi.
Madam Table Topics Master, I read somewhere, anger is never without a reason, seldom a good one. That was the day I realized how true this quote was. Ishika, Ishika, I started shouting at my daughter, who, since the entire day, was just scrolling through her mobile. It irritated me to the hell, and I was not just angry, I was actually furious. I didn't know how to stop her from scrolling through this mobile the entire day. She was just 6 years old, not a grown up enough to understand what she was doing was not right. Somehow this anger of mine did not have any outcome, and she kept on doing what she was doing. Losing my patience after yelling at her for good about 4 to 5 hours, I sat her down and asked her, Ishika, do you know it's not right to keep scrolling? I can't see the timer's card. Can you please?
Can I request the timer to hear?
Ishika, I sat her down and asked her, do you even understand what you're doing? She looked at me and said, Mom, do you know, since past 4 days, when it was my bedtime story time, you were scrolling through Facebook and checking what's happening in other people's lives. And you know, Mama, you are my inspiration. When I watched you doing this thing for past 4 days, I thought there definitely has to be some value in what you're doing. And that's why since morning, I picked up your mobile phone and I started scrolling to see what is the value that you were getting last 4 days when you were supposed to be my bedside telling me bedtime stories. All that anger that I had melted down in a moment, and I got that moment of truth from my daughter. The moment of truth which told me that what I was doing was actually an inspiration to her. Let me be a correct inspiration and let me inspire her in right sense. That's the day I deleted my Facebook account and my screen time reduced by more than 1/4 since that day. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Meenakshi, and that really was an eye-opener. Thank you so much for that wonderful speech. Okay, now we have 2 more topics. Who would like to be the next speaker? Toastmaster Phalgunan, do we have time for 2 more speeches?
We can take one more.
All right. Who would like to take this up? The last one.
I
Or do I
can.
choose?
I can take.
Toastmaster Harish?
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Please pick your number.
Yeah. Since I have no choice, you can allocate.
You have 2 numbers. There are 2 numbers which you can choose from.
6.
All right. Angry people are more likely to blame others. Why do you think that is so? Angry people are more likely to blame others. Why do you think that is so? Over to you.
Table topic master, the topic given to me is angry people are more likely to blame others. Why do you think so? But is it a statement or a fact? I don't know. But I beg to differ. It depends on the situation. For example, it happened just a few days back during our Diwali celebration. There were a lot of kids in my house, and suddenly a beautiful vase which was gifted to me was found broken. When I looked around, there were a lot of kids playing around. I asked in a different tone, who did this? Everyone was silent and everyone was looking at each other. No one was ready. So in this situation, when you try to find and pinpoint a blame on someone, yes, that is the time when you point fingers at others that, okay, because of him, it happened. I will tell you the second part of the story. My eldest son, who had just read something about kintsugi, he said, Dad, don't worry. Can we try kintsugi? I said, what is that? It's the art of recreating the broken vase again by joining it. In Japan, it is done with a gold. They use gold as a binding medium and a kintsugi vase is created. I said, I can't afford a gold now after looking at this broken vase, but try. And he fixed it. And he fixed it. As they say, there is an IKEA syndrome that whatever you make it, you start loving it. And we all loved the recreated vase. And in this case, I did not blame the person who broke it. But I was grateful that he taught me a new technique of overcoming anger by looking beyond it, looking at something like kintsugi, which can mend and bend and blend it into a new product. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Harish. That was beautiful, beautifully said. With this, I will conclude the table topics round. I loved the way all the speakers handled the topics, took it up and started speaking, and with such creativity. I would like to conclude by saying that anger is an energy like all the other things. Anger is also an energy. It could be good, it could be bad. It depends on how we make it beneficial for us and learn how to turn our fury into a force for good. That is the way anger can be used wisely and rightly. A huge thank you to all the speakers who participated. The we didn't have the evaluation due to lack paucity of time, but all the role players and listeners who participated in the session, I enjoyed conducting it. I hope you enjoyed participating in it. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Girija.
Thank you. Are we launching the poll? Yes, okay. So while the poll is being launched, I would just like to continue with the theme. Now, as I said, in literature, we have seen that there is so much being explained about the consuming force of anger. Macbeth, Shakespeare's hero, his unchecked ambition sparked by his wife and her own anger and his anger. This leads him to murder King Duncan. The anger, guilt, paranoia consume him. And then this leads to a spiral of violence and ultimately his downfall. You must have also read about Hamlet. His anger against his uncle, whom he thinks has murdered his father, is the catalyst of the entire tragedy. Othello, again driven by jealousy and anger, spurred because of the manipulations of Iago, suspects his wife and murders her and kills himself. Achilles in Iliad, his anger towards Agamemnon over the seizure of his war prize leads him to withdraw from the Trojan War, which causes immense suffering for the Greeks. His wrath leads to eventual death of his friend Pericles, and it ultimately drives Achilles into battle, but the rage leads to brutal killing of Hector and his own tragic fate. These stories illustrate how destructive anger can be, whether it leads to violence, loss, and even death in each of these cases. Now we move on to the next section, and that is going to be led by our own distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair. Over to you.
Thank you, Girija. We are running 50 minutes late, so we'd like to speed up, and in the interest of time, may I ask the presiding officer to grant the meeting another 10 minutes, please.
Yes, General Evaluator.
Thank you very
Do
much.
we need to have that proposed and adopted by anyone, or we go ahead?
Oh,
Can go ahead.
it can go ahead.
Okay,
Thank
then
you.
go ahead.
Thank you very much. All right. So we do begin. Let's begin with the evaluation of the prepared speeches. The timing would be for 2 to 3 minutes, and we had two speeches today. And may I first invite Mr. Toastmaster Seetharaman to present the evaluation for the speech delivered by Akshay.
Thank you, distinct Toastmaster and our general evaluator for the day, distinct Toastmaster Arvind. Today, I'll be providing a detailed evaluation of our first target speaker, Toastmaster Akshay. The objective of the speech, as I stated, was a speech that inspires audience. Let's see if our target speaker, Akshay, if he had really achieved it. First, getting on to the content. Great introduction, immediately connected with the audience. He started off saying, show of hands. He went on to also start summarizing his own story. There was evidence of a narration about his own story in the speech that we had got to see. There were transitions as he introduced the sections and then moved on. The story was building up. He finished off with a call to action, which was the connection between power of smile and the bonds that it creates. On the delivery, I thought, Toastmaster Akshay, you were very confident. It's always that we have seen you delivering so many speeches. Your body language was sparingly okay. Now, for inspiring and engaging an audience, if that was your objective, there are places specifically in the delivery where you should have scored well. And that is where I found you could probably look at and improve upon, especially in the tone, pitch, and pace of your delivery. For example, you mentioned next day we picked this, that, with all the bags together, we open the gates. You could have said it in a different way, because this is all about engaging with the audience, inspiring. Next day we pick this and pick that, and with all the bags together, we open the gates. Now, it would have built that sort of an anxiety in us, the listeners, because you're going ahead, going to do some sort of a service, looking for that, you build that excitement. But somewhere, like the crescendo of a symphony, as they say, you could have hit that spot there, which I found missing. Another excellent usage of language, sparkles of tears. You ended up saying it as sparkles of tears. You could have said sparkles of tears. That pauses would have really made us see the impact of what that sparkles of tears had done. The smile of Arjun was what I believed was the center of your overall speech. That I think could have gotten a more better treatment, more importantly, engaging with us, with the audience. You could have, sort of said it. You started off engaging with the audience, you ended off engaging with the audience, but somewhere you could have taken it a little longer. You could have said, all of you, close your eyes. Imagine Arjun smiling. Did you experience that power of smile? Did you? And that's what I mean. That's what power of smile could deliver. That would have made the impact, Toastmaster Akshay. Overall,
from looking at the objective of the speech, it definitely you had the inspiration, it inspired the audience, you could have taken it to the next levels. That part was missing. Should be engaging. Yes, speech was quite engaging. It should be either entertaining or moving. It was moving. I wouldn't say entertaining for sure, considering the nature of the speech and the content. You should be more aware of the audience. That's the part that got missed out. If you pick this up, I'm sure you would have probably taken the speech to the next levels, but overall, you did meet the objective of the speech. Back to you, General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Arvind.
Thank you very much, Seetharaman. And now, may I invite Renosh, distinguished Toastmaster Renosh, to present the evaluation of the second speech that was delivered by Jay.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Greetings to all fellow Toastmasters present here and to the speaker, Distinguished Toastmaster Jay. Distinguished Toastmaster Jay was to present a proposal, develop and present it to the audience, which could have been either from his personal, business, or from the Toastmasters Club. And today, Distinguished Toastmaster Jay presented a business proposal, which he would like to take it to his management. A very good thought. In fact, the topic that he selected made me to think, what exactly is he going to speak about? Business. It's matter. Good to know that it fits the audience, and I believe most of us are working professionals or have been in the past working or in some form or the other that is related to a job. And me being in a professional career as well in the telecoms and IT, this is something very common that we see. But yes, never have I ever thought that how do we project this to the management? Of course, me coming from a sales perspective, we sometimes use these flavors in our talks, in our dealings, whether it be with your colleagues or with your customers or with your vendors or with your suppliers. How important to place relationship than transaction. And thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Jay, for that very important, valid proposition which you would like to present to your management. And what I loved about your speech, you tried to get that audience touch by asking a question related to coffee. I thought, what's Starbucks, Costa Coffee, chai, wife's tea got to do with business? Starting from there, had us all move across to the journey where he tried to relate the importance of relationship. I love the fact that you used hand gestures appropriately. While there was a bit of a lack in the movement, while you could have probably had some conversations that would help, but good usage of the gestures. And I believe your eye contact was appropriate as well, seeing to each one of us here. And over and above, I love the fact that you used pauses. A few tips that would enhance your speech, I would give you just 3 pointers. Number one, a tone and a pitch that could help involve into your speech, especially when you said the aroma from the coffee, the movement of your facial expression, as well as the tone and the pitch could help there. Secondly, you use virtual background. I prefer if you do not. And if you want to use a informative presentation, could help you out. Third, I would love you to put statistics to your management, increase customer loyalty, increase revenue profitability to help you in that. Overall, a fantastic speech, and I'm sure your delivery did not come across as furious. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Renosh. Timer, may I have the timings for both of these evaluations, please? Arvind, you're on mute if you are speaking.
Yeah. Toastmaster Seetharaman took 3 minutes 20 seconds, and distinguished Toastmaster Renosh took 3 minutes 27 seconds. Both are qualified.
Great. So you would then put in the poll. So in the meantime, let's go ahead with the R counters report.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair. It is my duty to share the R-Counter report. Toastmaster Sukanya did not use crutch words other than you know. You use the 2 words you know twice in your speech. You used it in a context where you were trying to fill in and re-emphasize a point. Be careful of this in the future. A special call out to 2 speakers today. Distinguished Toastmaster Renosh Thomas as well as Toastmaster Meenakshi, both were flawless. I tried my best to hear any crutch sounds or any usage of crutch words. I could not spot any. Big round of applause to both of you. Phenomenal use of the English language. Toastmaster Girija used about 4 times. Other than that, I couldn't spot anything else. Anytime you were stuck or looking for something, you used the sound as a crutch word. Distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair used about 2 times, but other than that, we all know how phenomenal he is in the English language. Toastmaster Phalgunan used 3 times, twice. Distinguished Toastmaster Akshay Singh, no crutch words, but I would give you a recommendation. The space between the words was extremely short in a couple of instances. I will highlight the examples. It was throughout your speech. For example, when you said that bags and supplies, you said that bag supplies very quickly without any space between the 2 words. Another example, immediately in a jiffy. Instead of immediately or in a jiffy, you said immediately in a jiffy, very quickly. It would be better if you spaced your words a little. Other than that, I didn't see any crutch words. Distinguished Toastmaster Sita used twice, once. Distinguished Toastmaster Jai Singh used the crutch word also about 4 times in his speech. Distinguished Toastmaster Nirmala Menon used 3 times, once. Toastmaster Dhruv Tiwari used twice. And he also had this crutch where he paused after the first word in his sentence. For example, he said I, and then paused and then continued speaking, then said she, and then stopped, and then said block me. So the first word, and then you would continue. That's something that you could work on. Your first word, big pause, and then you continue speaking. Toastmaster Pritpal Kaur had used like 1 time, but twice, however, multiple times. However was your crutch word, and you used you know once. Distinguished Toastmaster Harish used twice. This was my report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Krishna. May I remind our members to please cast their vote for the best evaluator. And now I would like to present the report of the Grammarian. I should say I am not furious today because I had a harvest of that word furious. With Girija, with Krishna, Akshay, Nirmala, Dhruv, and Meenakshi using it a couple of times. Most of them used it once. Girija used it 4 times. Akshay used it thrice. The others used it once. The good usage of the language, hemming and hawing, sneak peek, the chaos that entered, orchestrating the part, shifting your perspective, more rights, more responsibilities, the moment of truth, mend, bend, and blend, fury to a force for good. The incorrect usage of the language. Next morning at 6 a.m. Morning cannot be PM, so you can either use next morning at 6 or just say the next or say 6 a.m. Do not use morning and AM together. I told Arjun, what do you want me to become? You don't tell it, you ask. So I questioned or I asked. After 1.5 years later is incorrect. You can either say after 1.5 years or 1.5 years later. Since past 4 days, the article was missing there. Since the past 4 days is what could be said, should be said. That was my report on that was the Grammarian's report. And now for the general evaluation of the meeting, we did have a little exclamation problem. And so we exclaimed that we were going to be late. And there was a lot of exclamations going round with adding that exclamation mark so that members could join us. And yes, we did start at 8:36 Indian time instead of 8:30. So 6 minutes late, but I fear that it snowballed and we were running, and we are running pretty late today. The Sergeant at Arms started off with welcoming everybody and stated the mission of the club. I would love if the mission of the club is stated verbatim as given by Toastmasters International. We cannot substitute or amend it when we are stating the mission. Please let it be stated as given. The Sergeant at Arms also introduced the presiding officer. The presiding officer called the meeting to order, proposed and adopted the agenda, and started off with a story about the old lady and the young person and how we need to slow down and be in the moment. That was quite an inspirational speech, which is often required, required of the presiding officer to set the tone for the meeting. Introduced, also mentioned about 3 clubs and introduced the Toastmaster of the day. The Toastmaster of the day, wonderful topic, anger. And I know that you have gone into so much research and that you have been a student of literature, because all that came out in the way that you took the meeting forward, giving us snippets at every point. Great job. Timer. Yes, we did have a little problem up and down, in and out, but yes, by and large, Phalgunan knows what time is, kept the meeting in time, kept reminding us that we are late by so-and-so time, etc. That was a great job done, Timer. Our counter, wonderful report. Great to have kept a tab on all. This being an advanced club, well, your hall wasn't great, but nevertheless, it showed that you were very attentive. Table topic master, we started 30 minutes late, and when we are already late, we should not wait to ask people to put their hands up. Just when we are here and we've seen on all the people in the screen, barring the role players, just pick somebody and start off. First, give them a chance to raise their hand. If they don't, just go in and pick the person. Well, the topics were so lovely. And yes, it was done very well with asking for people to choose a number and then show it on. So those were things that we went through the meeting. Now, generally, what we would like, or what I would like, is to see that the role players are all there much before time, and that's why the agenda states 8:15, so that we meet and greet and be ready with our thing. I heard that the values of Toastmasters International was quoted as rise. I'm afraid I would not recommend. Integrity cannot be compromised. It must be said in the way Toastmasters has put it. It's IRSE. Please do not change. It cannot be changed. No memento is large or small, and I do not know why we use that adjective. It should not. A memento is a memento, whether it's large or small, it need not be said, but it's the thought that matters. I found that akin to a physical meeting where we say do not cross talk, it was mentioned that do not send messages to one and all, to all. We have to be mindful of that because that amounts to crosstalks. So let's not send messages to all. If you have to send a message, spend it only to that person concerned and not to all of us and disturb the others who are paying attention. That is why we must also observe. Toastmasters teaches us how to observe, and that is what we do in evaluation. So when we observe, we must be mindful that in the chat, it was already mentioned that we are running late by 30 minutes or so. And yes, and that's where we learn how to control our ego. We over-prepare but under-deliver. We must sacrifice our content in the interest of time to ensure that the meeting finishes on time. I would like to tell the speakers that yes, the attire must go with the project that you are doing. Now, if you were to inspire someone or your speech was to give an inspirational speech, then I wish the speaker had come properly attired rather than in just a t-shirt, which was very casual, and I wouldn't be able to get inspired with that attire. That puts me off. So please ensure that you have the proper attire. I heard the word fantastic speech being said. Well, let's avoid the word fantastic because you've already given, if it's fantastic, if it's excellent, there cannot be any changes, but you have already given recommendations. That's wrong. So you could say that it was a good speech, but avoid the words superlative, excellent, and fantastic. So those were some of the things that I noticed. And thank you. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much for that elaborate and insightful feedback. We need it. Thank you so much. Are we launching polls?
No, go ahead. You conclude. Thereafter, I'll launch it.
Okay. Thank you so much. So history tells us that pent-up anger led to several revolutions, including French Revolution. Furious freedom fighters risked their lives, but inspired lacks. Social changes happen due to huge movements fueled initially by anger and sustained by the noble purpose to uplift humanity. That is how certain practices, untouchability, sati, dowry, apartheid, etc., has consistently shown the door. We commonly see four responses: aggressiveness, passive aggression, suppression, and assertive communication in response to what we experience. The best is letting it go, forgiveness. There are people who channelize anger to music, meditation, writing, painting, etc. Just 2 days back, I saw a video of Netanya Rubin, who wrote a book, A Shot in the Dark, to channelize her anger that the rich and influential Diddy, the then boyfriend of Hollywood actor Jennifer Lopez, probably would never be punished, though she was shot in the New York club in 1999. Just 2 days back, an announcement came that he would be arrested, and then her video was shown that how she released her anger by writing that book. So there are several examples in front of us how people channelize their anger in very constructive ways. This is a food for thought with which I would like to hand over the podium to our presiding officer, Distinguished Toastmaster Renosh Thomas.
Thank you, Toastmaster Girija Deshpande. And now we're coming to the end of the meeting. But before I do the honors to adjourn, we have the voting for the best primary role player, which is the big three on the chat box. Please go ahead and vote. I would request Toastmaster Phalgunan in the meantime to please send me the winners for the best prepared speech, best table topic speaker, the best evaluator in the meantime. Do we have any guests present in the meeting today? I think another 2 to 3 minutes, I hope to get the results and then I'll announce them. Are we done with the polling of the big three? I can see there are 9 of us have voted. If the poll is still on, I request all of you to please press the button, select the best of the big three. All right, I'm getting a message from Toastmaster Phalgunan. Let me do the honors to announce the results. The best prepared speaker for today's meeting, round of applause. Both of them were good. Let me say Toastmaster Akshay Singh is declared as the best prepared speaker for today's meeting. Congratulations, Toastmaster Akshay Singh. The best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Meenakshi Arya. Congratulations. I'm not sure if Toastmaster Girija is presenting that on the screen. Yes, we can see it. Thank you. The best evaluate.
Yeah.
Okay, the best.
So this is not, supporting role was not shown.
Okay, go ahead.
The
I'll
results
do
have
that.
not
So
come. Supporting role, yeah.
thank you, Toastmaster. Okay, you can go from the first slide. I'll announce that. So just to thank each and every one of you as well. Done. Table topic speaker, we have done. Can we go to the best evaluate?
Evaluate.
Okay, I'll announce. The best evaluator is myself. Thank you so much. The best primary role player was a general evaluator. This is Toastmaster Arvind Nair. Congratulations. Thanking each and everyone who had taken the time and all the role players for today. I'm not naming anyone specifically, but all of you did your part justly, and I'm sure each one of us have enjoyed today's meeting, which was a joint meeting of 3 clubs. And before I adjourn, I would like to take this moment to thank all the 3 presidents. Toastmaster Girija Deshpande, the president of Eloquent Elite Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Phalgunan Kumaran of All Elites Advanced Toastmasters Club, and on behalf of St. Paul Toastmasters Club, I myself represent that. Thank you to all the club presidents, your ExCom, and each and every member for being part of this meeting. Thank you, wishing you good night, and I hereby adjourn the meeting.
Let's take a quick group photograph before we adjourn.
Sure.
I think this we need to do before or in between the meeting. Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Dr. Sukanya and Akshay, if you can come on screen, that would be good. Thank you, Akshay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you all. Let's connect soon. Bye all.
Yeah, let's
Recording Girija would be
Right, thanks,
available, right?
everyone.
Stop the
It was
recording.
wonderful. Thanks, Renosh. Thanks, Girija. Yeah,
You.
we had our first joint meeting. And thanks, Arvind. I think